just like that, man. We lost. I believe yesterday we gave you the overreaction. But what I've learned is, I'm going to take pride in being a Cowboys fan. People are going to hate regardless, whether we win or we lose. So why not just make sure that we are loud and very clear on how great the Cowboys are as a team to the NFL, just America's team.
Hey man, this is what I'll tell you. I woke up upset this morning. Had a lot on my mind. Didn't want to do a lot of things. But at the end of the day, man, you know what? We got another day. I guess that's good, right? We're not out of it, so we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. We got to go on to the next one, as they say. We got Minnesota coming up, so hey, man, let's chalk it up as a loss, learn from it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, and you say that, and I'll share with you, a loss is a loss. And regardless, some people say sleep it off, and people that are really close to me, they know exactly, like they know they already know, don't say certain, keywords to kind of get me up, right? Or get me, feeling passionate, right? Because if anything, everybody knows about me. I'm a very passionate individual. But I will say this: it was a tough loss.
Mhm.
And let's go ahead and say our final words about the game, and then we'll go ahead and leave it in its grave, right? Uh, we got Anna Salazar chiming in. If we are not passionate about our team, we are not true fans. Amen. I love
True,
that, man. I
true,
love.
baby, true.
Man, finally, somebody that understands. I can tell somebody that's a real fan like me and Harvey right here, right now.
Yep.
So that's what it's all about, right? And right now we're looking at divisional opponents. Right now we got the Eagles and the Commanders, or Washington Wizards, or whatever the heck their name is. Right? That's how much. Yeah, I don't care. They used to be called the Redskins. So when you change your name, you're not respected in the league anymore. In fact, they should have an asterisk next to your Super Bowls so they don't count anymore. But still, Commanders are 4-5, just like the Packers, and Eagles are 8-0, right? So I guess in this case, don't be disappointed if the Eagles walk away with this win, right? Because we want to go ahead and clean up the NFC East. We don't want them in the playoffs. It's either Dallas or bust, right, for us. But let's go ahead and talk about yesterday's game. Yesterday was, we're learning more and more from what was it, and I'm gonna ask Harvey this question. When we look at this game, were we outcoached or were we outclassed?
Think a little bit of both. If
Okay.
you look at it, I mean, outclassed 28-14, yeah, 100%. Outcoached, yes. They, I think Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur ran the game plan that we should have ran. Dak throwing more than 40, that's not his game. It's running the ball and then doing play action off of that. That's how we win. That's our recipe. It's been like that for Dak since he started. Look at Dak when he throws over 40 times. How many wins does he really have? Not very many. He lost against the Bucks the year before. This year, I mean, it's just that's not Dak's game. And I don't know why they keep doing that, but I know Kellen Moore likes to throw the ball. He wants to stay, like I said before, with the Joneses and McVay and all them. That's not this team is not built that way. So, I mean, that's my opinion on it. We need to fix some things because we got the Vikings coming up. So we'll see what happens, Jerry.
Yeah, and that's 46 passing attempts to be accurately. Ramiro Zuniga, so good to have you on. I know CD Lamb had a good receiving game, but do you feel he was part of the two interceptions from Dak? Ooh, man, that's a double-edged sword. And actually, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, right? We were going to go into depth as far as field positions and whatnot, like to see how close this game was actually. But let's go ahead and just jump into that question right there. Do you think that CD, from the narrative that we've seen a lot of media, I saw, a lot of content creators early in the morning that they were really Jesse Holly, one of them, a well-known one. he was really giving it to CD. He was saying, when he looks at CD, he looks at a wide receiver that's not paying attention. I don't want to take Jesse Holly's words out of content, but he just says, in other words, when you look at CD Lamb's body language, it looks like he's not running the route expecting the ball. And when you see that, that's kind of discouraging. And we saw Michael Irvin tweet out that first interception was CD Lamb's fault, because he didn't flatten out on the route. And now we know, Harvey and I, we know this stuff because obviously we had Jason Witten and that luxury of understanding about, it wasn't just about, running a route. It was about, they had the option to break off into an option depending on what the zone that they had. So what people are basically kind of doing to CD Lamb, I think, is unfortunate. Because it's one of those things where, Dak, you're the quarterback, you're the leader. If you don't feel confident that CD's not there, you shouldn't throw the ball, man. You shouldn't throw the ball. Plain and simple. I mean, you should have had that. You should have that understanding. You should have already had that feel of that game. You should already know CD Lamb. This is you're working 3 years with CD Lamb already. I know the first year, he wasn't the main show, but you know, it's unfortunate to see, our the Cowboys nation, especially the people that follow Cowboys closely enough to see real time, real time games on the sideline, stuff like that, really attack, our own players like that. I will say this: it was a great game by CD Lamb. He's answering some big time questions. He had a huge game, but at what cost, right? It's never good if we were coming away with a loss. It would be better if we did come away with that win. But overall, Harvey, what do you think? I mean,
Like the biggest thing with CD, I say this is I don't want to get too much into it, but big playmakers make big plays at critical times. Then that's what I'll say. And at the critical times, he didn't make the plays. So you know, I think he can get better, and I think we saw this as well. I can't remember what game it was, but I think he threw the ball. He was running a post at one point, and the guy intercepted the ball, and he just kind of didn't even go after him. He just kind of, so that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what was going on with the route, but it just, you've seen that him from game to game, right? I hope that's not the case. I hope it was the route that he was running and he couldn't tackle that guy that intercepted it. But going back to Green Bay, I mean, it seemed like they were running the same route almost.
well, I will say this: that touchdown that he did score on that long run, it was the exact same. It was the exact same route. So, you know, there's something there, and there's something there in between, right? That obviously we're gonna be paying very close attention. I know as soon as I get it, I mean, I'm already screenshotting, I'm already sending it to Harvey his way whenever we get the reports, because obviously, there's a chain of command as far as how press conferences are done. As we learned today, we did hear, we did I got to listen to Mike McCarthy talk about the game, and he said, what he said. Some of the topics that everybody were asking him was about stopping the running game. We've been struggling. Our defense has been struggling to stop the running game, and the Packers, they saw it and they took advantage of it, and they ran the ball right at Micah Parsons. It looks like they've kind of given a blueprint for the rest of the league to take advantage of. So I think that right now, if Dan Quinn really wants to, you know, take advantage of the season that he started off with, I think that he needs to like quickly be able to fix this little issue that we're having with these chunk plays. Um what do you think? I mean, do you think we have the personnel, Harvey, as far as stopping the run on defense?
I think we do. It's just we need to scheme it up the right way. And I think I talked about this with my brother earlier today. And knowing Aaron Rodgers and his record and what he's done against us, I probably would have blitzed 50% of the time and made him throw the ball as fast as we can. But that everybody has their own scheme or how they want to play things. But for me, Aaron Rodgers, with those receivers, I would have blitzed half the time. Let
So
him get uncomfortable and throw the ball as fast as he can out of the pocket.
let's talk about that real quick. So this is the actual entire game. We lost 31 to 28, and of course we lost in overtime to the kick. Total yards: the Cowboys had 421 total yards. The Green Bay Packers had 415 total yards. Passing yards: this is where we beat the Green Bay Packers. We had 262 passing yards. Green Bay had 208 passing yards. Rushing, man, this is where it gets weird. Cowboys 159 yards rushing. Packers had 207 yards rushing. We averaged 5.3, but the Packers averaged 6.8. So before we get any deeper, man, I mean, right there, do you see how close of a game this was? Hold on, I got a question for you. However, you said the Cowboys got out coached. Do you feel that Kellen Moore got away from what was working, or was Dak changing plays? Ooh, that's a good question.
I that part I just think I we got out coached. I think Kellen Moore said it before. He'd rather pass. He said at one of the press conferences that he'd rather pass than run the ball. So that tells you, that he does not want to run the ball. When he had Cooper, he had to run the ball more than he could pass. And you saw what their turnout was. We won games. Now that he has Dak, he wants to get pass happy. I don't understand why, but I think we stick to the run. Like I said, I'm going to stick with that. I said we run the ball. We continue to run the ball, and they don't want to do it. Dak is not the type of guy to throw over 40 passes. That's not his style.
Have you seen the narrative that they've been the narrative that they've been going with now? It's very unique how, like I said, the average Joe. That's why football and NFL is so beautiful, and that's why whoever's watching right now, you can become somebody in the NFL just by creating the right narrative. But right now, the narrative is now that the Cowboys have Dak Prescott back, the defense is starting to relax and not play as hungry as what they did in the beginning. Crazy, right? Crazy narrative. Like, I mean, do you wanna chime in on that? Do you see that though? Are you seeing that personally? That now the defense feels a little relaxed. They don't have to be the breadwinner, so to say.
I wouldn't say that. I say this is a copycat league, and the NFL is going to find ways to beat you. And when they do find weaknesses, they attack it. And I think that's what they've done to this defense, to attack the run. And I said it before. I think in order to beat this defense, I said it a week ago about the Packers. You run the ball against them. That's what you do, and that's what they did. And to me, you have to adjust. And I think I want to say this win is probably eating away at Dan Quinn because he's having the remnants of that Super Bowl where they lost that Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan. So I honestly think is digging at him, and I think he's going to find a way to change this, to change the narrative on this defense.
How about digging at Mike McCarthy? I mean, he was there at Green Bay, and that's where he was most successful. And then to top it off, we had one of the longest records in NFL history, and we lost that. We've actually been the record was, or yeah, was right because it's past tense now. Anytime the Dallas Cowboys had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, we were 195 and 0, and the
Whew.
Green Bay Packers just took that away from us. So that's crazy to see that, history was made yesterday. Ramiro, with 2 tough games coming up, do you feel like the season could slip away with 2 more losses? Man, that's a very great question. And you guys are really ready for you're really ready for today. Harvey, I'll let you chime in first, man, because I'm
So
gonna answer emotionally, man.
I don't think so. I don't think it'll slip away just for the simple fact that you got Washington playing tonight, and they're that technically on the bubble with the eighth seed. Then you have the Packers, which beat us, got it, but they still have some teams to play, and you got the Falcons. So Commanders are 4-5, Packers are 4-6, and the Falcons are 4-6. They have to pretty much win out from here on out because the Cowboys can lose these next two games and still be, five losses. So we'll see. I think we make it. I don't think it's an issue now. If they lose these two games, they still got to play the Eagles and we still got to play the Titans. So now we're in trouble. So it just depends. I mean, it could possibly end up for those two games if we do lose the next two. But I think this team will get back on track. This team is too talented, especially with D Law, Michael Parsons, and Zeke maybe coming back. We'll see. They're gonna win at least one out of these next two games.
I will say this. You said something briefly. You said, as far as, you don't want to be that eighth seed, right? Because if you lose a couple games, you can possibly still punch your ticket into the playoffs and be the eighth seed. But I mean, at that point, how bad would it be if let's just say, okay, Eagles get a first round bye, Cowboys are able to get that that one win, and let's say you got to face off against the Eagles. I mean, what opponent would you rather have? Because I'm already at this point where I'm sold. If the Cowboys have to go against Tom Brady or Aaron freaking Rodgers, I'm not betting. I'm not even gonna watch the game because obviously the Cowboys team that we have, for whatever reason, that's our kryptonite is Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, man. That's why I was so upset. That's why I was so pumped up and fired up about this game because I finally wanted to end that chapter on Aaron Rodgers, end their season, get them out of the playoffs, get them out of our lives for the rest of our lives, man. So, that one was it was a very hard loss for me yesterday. Personally, I'm just tired of Aaron Rodgers. I'm tired of Tom Brady. I really feel that there's something. I feel we have the right players on the team right now. Completely, I'm talking about offense, defense, and even special teams. Even though I felt bad for Harvey. I was very animated when I was saying, "Get rid of Turpin, man. He's wasting a roster spot." Did we really miss Zeke in the lineup? Ooh, man. I think so because let's look at those stats real quick. Let's go ahead and break down the actual individual stats as far as player wise. Tony, okay, so Dak Prescott was 27 to 46. He passed for 265 yards, three touchdowns, two interceptions. But Tony Pollard ran the ball 22 times. He had 22 carries, 115 yards, rush for 5.2 yards. That was his actual average carry. And he scored, of course, a touchdown. But Malik Davis only rushed the ball 5 times. But the crazy stat line is a 7.6 average yards that he had. The five carries he had 38 total rushing yards. So, I think that you have to say yes. I think that Zeke is. That's a great question. I think that nobody's even talking about. Maybe it is that Kellen just doesn't trust Malik Davis for whatever reason, and only gave him the 5 yards, despite him having relatively good success every time he had the ball. Hand it to Tony Pollard, man. He even was doing a sensational job. It looked like he was giving us a second and shorts almost every time he rushed the ball. But do we do at this point? Do we need Zeke back right now?
We're gonna. I I think we did miss Zeke, but for the long term, I think we did the right thing by holding him back and getting him healthy. Because what if we get into these games again like this when we really do need him? I think it's going to make a difference. But I think we did miss Zeke. He's like Jerry Jones said, he as Zeke goes, we go, right?
He does. He
So
did say that before the game.
I mean, I still agree with holding him back because of the situation with Thanksgiving and playing 3 games within 12 days. So, yeah, we did miss Zeke 100%. But at the end of the day, we had to do it in order to save him for the rest of the year.
So you're saying if Zeke is ready to go this week, hold him out.
Yes.
Damn. That's a tough one, Harv. I mean, we need this win. I think that this one would give us the right momentum, especially seeing the Titans. And I don't know. I mean, that's how crazy the NFL is. I mean, look at Jeff Saturday, an intern coach for the Indianapolis Colts, come away with a freaking win after the previous coach. I don't know if there was the coach who did it, or I don't know if it was maybe management that said it to bench Matt Ryan and bring in Sam Ellinger. But you have Jeff Saturday, who hadn't even been a coach, and you make him your intern coach. Everybody's pissed because that's the coach drinking buddy, and damn, they brought back Matt Ryan. And look, Jonathan Taylor, who's been pretty much obsolete this year. Last year he had a phenomenal rushing season, and this year he's been obsolete. And look at what the Colts did with just like by making a small change on their coaching staff. Jonathan Taylor had a hell of a game. Matt Ryan got a win, and an intern that's never played. I mean, never coached a game, coach it. So, man, I really do think that we need to really take into consideration that Zeke may need to play so we can get that trust and get that win. That dude Saturday is a leader of men. Ooh, okay. All right. I liked it. Yeah, you know what? I got that off the press conference. I like how he stood up to the actual. I mean, he took ownership of that team. I mean, he right away he took ownership of the team. He looked like a coach too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, he looked like a coach. And even hearing him on the podium, you could tell that he's truly a leader, and that's why that team maybe perhaps turned on their gears and gave Raiders their I don't know how many losses. It really does suck. I mean, I ain't gonna punch down no more teams on the. I'm not gonna knock any teams that are down right now. Raiders are in a bad situation. Cowboys, Cowboys Nation, we should be grateful. We're 6-3, man. A lot of teams are not 6-3. We still have a great opportunity ahead. We have the Vikings. Vikings, what we see right now with the Vikings is that Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. I mean, the game plan should that should be it right there. Stop those two right there. Stop them at all costs, man. Just stop those two. Force, you know, force Kirk Cousins to be a statue, man. Let him force the ball to Adam Thielen, and let us feast on that. And I say if we can just focus in on that. Everybody just I need a hat on Dalvin Cook. I need 6, 7 guys, rushing for the tackle. Stop Dalvin Cook. Justin Jefferson, hey, make sure you had the safety over top. You know what? Let's double team him and a safety over top, because we saw what Justin Jefferson did with that 100 snag. That was crazy. So, and is he the modern day Randy Moss? I mean, he's playing like it right now. Did we really miss Zeke, or are talking about a broken record with Kellen Moore? I think we're just talking the truth right now at this point.
Yeah, we are.
I
I
mean,
mean,
go ahead, Ari.
no, I mean, it keeps. It's almost like the Jason Garrett. Is Jason Garrett still in the building?
It feels like it, man.
It feels like it, right? Like kill him more, kill him more, kill him more. I don't know, and I think it's going back to Scott Linehan days. Remember, because he got this offense off of Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett, and it feels like they run the same routes over and over again. And the NFL is just kind of like, we already know what you're running, and there was no crossing routes, rub routes. I don't really see that much from Dallas. in the game plan. Other teams are always doing that. They're creating a defensive back to make a decision, at three different ways, and they're like, okay, if this guy does this, we're throwing the ball outside. We're sending somebody in the empty area from the running back field. Where it seems like we're not doing that. We're running these generic routes from the Scott Linehan days. But I think we're missing. It's a combination of both, Kellen Moore, and we're missing Zeke. I think though it's a combination of those two.
I know it's early, but how would your line up look at cornerback? Are you saying because of you don't know if Anthony Brown is going to be able to come back from a concussion?
Yeah, man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one because everybody got roasted, man. Everybody got roasted yesterday. Calvin Joseph, Durham Bland,
Were they wearing the right cleats?
Anthony Brown. No, in fact, that was actually something that's been going under the radar. Is I believe it was a Dallas Cowboy player being judgmental towards the rest of the team, saying they were not ready because they didn't have the right cleats.
They were slipping a lot.
I mean, on that last play with Alan Lazard, where he broke it and got him in field goal range, you can see how he just slid, man. But again, hats off to Alan Lazard. It was within the 5 yards, and obviously, it just shows you how strong Alan Lazard is as far as getting clean, getting those arms off of him. Not letting the corners really you know, get him out of his everything with Alan Lazard. Though I've always seen contested, but the one thing that he's really good at is the push offs. So with that little push off, I mean, he really turned Deron Bland around, and Deron Bland, it looked like he was wearing ice skating. It looked like he was ice skating out there, man. So go back and I mean, well, I sent the replay to Harvey earlier, and it's crazy. You could see Deron Bland just looked like he was skiing out there. So you know, I guess if you want to go early, I think Anthony Brown would make I think he should make a comeback. I think that one didn't look at. I mean, did you see it? Did you see it clearly when it was when he got burned right for the touchdown?
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't really look like a clear concussion, but you know how these things are. I mean, with the whole Tua thing, right now, I will bank that Anthony Brown's back. We're gonna keep him on the outside. Of course, Trayvon on the outside, and then of course Deron Bland on the inside. So I don't know about Kelvin Joseph, man. I think there's certain things that you can use him for, and there's certain things that he needs to just clean up, man. And the one thing that he needs to clean up right away is his technique. I think overall, uh, he just he took a bad angle. He didn't get his hands on Watson, right? On that crossing
Yep.
pattern. He didn't get
Yep.
it on that touchdown crossing pattern. He didn't get his hands on him, and Watson, I mean, literally crossed right in front of him and right in front of him and Malik Hooker. So, it's an unfortunate situation, but man, it's so hard, right? When we're trying to look ahead with the Vikings, and we still have this game in the back of our minds, still so fresh. But obviously, the good thing is that people, the media is good. The media that we have right now, that are covering the Cowboys, and it's good. Of course, they can't really ask the questions that we're asking right now because they're tough questions, man. Can you imagine being able to ask that to Mike McCarthy? How involved are you in the offensive game plan? How involved are you? I mean, like, what are you actively doing to fix the rushing attack that's been, I mean, literally taking advantage of our defense? Why did the Cowboys play so much nickel D when they were getting running on? And at this point, I think that Damone Clark is still a
Yep.
little bit too. Damone Clark is still a little too. He's still too. He's a rookie, man. I think it's a lot to put on his shoulders. Number one, I mean, because in reality, I remember playing. I got to actually play Mike our freshman year, and I remember I was asking, "What do I do?" They say, you got to go after the running back. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And, but I didn't really, it didn't really catch it didn't catch my attention until the fullback not clearly knocked me out. Right. So, I will say this, it's a tough position to be in. I think Micah looked a little bit out there. He was playing really deep too.
Yep.
Um, I just don't understand where has Dan Quinn gone wrong. Is this like something a wrinkle that he just doesn't know how to address, and that's why he's manufactured so much in getting the sack is to make the game lopsided and allow his edge rushers to go after the quarterback. So it's a great question, man. I mean, on this one though, Ram, I'll tell you this. I will go ahead and I will do a little bit more further research on that and see exactly if I can find the actual deployments because I know Dan Quinn was very brief in his press conference today. He really wasn't he wasn't really having it today. He wasn't really giving a full press conference. So definitely, I'll definitely be doing that, and then I'm gonna do a little bit deeper dive. Look at exactly every single. I'll be able to break down exactly what are liabilities on defense. I mean, right now, it's just we have the personnel, man. We have the personnel to stop the run. That's the thing that's so irritating, that's so frustrating when you look at the Cowboys right now. So, you know, looking back, should Cox have been active to help play more of a traditional 4-3? Man, and I did hear I heard today that right now, I mean, it's crazy. Ron Curse is playing his position. I heard it today specifically. They specifically said that again over and over again. Like, and it was three people that are very close. They're very close to the Cowboys organization. Were you gonna chime in?
I will say this. It's hard to say we're gonna play 4-3 because most teams play, I think, 70% nickel because of what the offense is bringing to the table. So if you're playing 70% of it nickel, that's what it is because they're bringing that third wide receiver. But I'm looking back and I'm thinking, right? They're still running the ball on us, but I don't think anybody's talking about this. Is Anthony Barr made that much of a difference?
Man,
Because
he's been
if you
he's I've been kind of critical of him and Leighton Benderish because I feel that they let everything kind of come into them. I don't see them kind of attacking. I give Barr a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that this is his first year in this defense, but Leighton Benderish, I mean, we've seen him make some splashy plays, but he's been in this defense since it's been around for a little bit over a season. Our star corner is afraid to tackle. Man, I knew that topic was waiting to come up. I mean, but at that point, I mean, it's hard, right? Because I think we had the Detroit Lions, Jeff Okuda, who's was selected third pick overall, and you're talking about a second rounder that the Cowboys selected in Trayvon Diggs, and when you see Okuda come away with what how many tackles? 12 tackles against Cowboys, and they all look ferocious, and it made us like, damn, why don't we have a corner like that? Yeah, I think that it does seem like that. It does seem like that because with him, you see him not really square his feet up. You see him kind of just fly in there and kind of throw his shoulder and see if he can kind of knock him out or do something. But I will tell you this. I think that we learned from periods in the past that when you got a corner that can easily intercept the ball when they throw it towards him, you know I'd rather just keep him to do that. So I'm not going to be judgmental on that, but I will say this: he's not the best at tackling. What do you think, Harvey?
No, if you look back at the plays, I think my brother went over this earlier with me today. If you look at our corners when there's a running back coming on the outside or they're rushing on the outside, they're not really tackling anybody. It's kind of like they're being passive and just getting blocked. instead of coming back down or turning the play back inside.
No,
So
yeah,
I don't know.
I can see that.
It's something I have to look at. But that was a good point that he brought up that they're just afraid to tackle.
I
I
saw
mean,
that.
I don't know. It's
But
but
but that goes for Leighton Vander Esch too, man. I mean, if you look, they kind of they're letting everything kind of come to them, man, and you never really want to see that, from your linebacker. You always want to see the attack, right? Because if you got somebody that is attacking, then they're good. But the thing is that, for instance, like with Damone, I think he's just too fast for his own good sometimes, and shoot, if he misses, that's a big gainer for until somebody turns around and gets him down, So I have seen what you're talking about. Yeah, it doesn't look like either one of our corners are looking to engage on an actual. They don't want to get involved. I wouldn't want to either. I'm not gonna lie. AJ Dillon, have you seen the size of his quads, man? That guy's a monster. So but I mean, definitely we need that toughness. I will say this defense is nowhere near to the Baltimore Ravens story defense or any story defense that we've had in previous time. Yes, we had a great start, but there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. I think in the offseason, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with the offseason, right? Because there's endless possibilities to improve or get better. I think that immediately, I think we're gonna need another outside corner to complement Trayvon Diggs' skill set. Maybe somebody that's a little bit more disciplined, right? And somebody that's not afraid to tackle. I think that would be a great opportunity. I think right now it's too late in the season to kind of acquire that. So we got to roll with what we have, and what DQ needs to do is just kind of like see what he has in his personnel, and see how we can incorporate it. I know we'd like to see Jabril Cox back at the linebacker position, but right now J-Ron is playing his position. That's exactly the position that we should expect for Jabril Cox to play going forward too.
hey, we have a long road to go. We have, like I keep saying, we got Minnesota. We got all the.
The
All
Giants,
I say is that we got Minnesota. We got the Giants within the next couple of one
Titans.
week. But this is what I'm gonna say. I don't. We can talk about all the things, Jerry. We can say this. This is what happened. We want Jabril Cox. We want that. Dan Quinn needs to get it together.
He does.
And I honestly think everything happens for a reason. And to tell you the truth, I hate to say this, but maybe we needed this, Jerry.
Ooh,
Maybe we needed to lose this game to let everybody know, like, hey man, we're not as good as we think we are. We're not.
I love it. I love
And now it feels like, man, we need to clean up a lot of things. And they do. We saw D Law go after Hertz, right? He just rushed in and he got juked when he should have broken down and flushed him back inside. These are the small mistakes that you learn in high school, in college, but we keep making the same mistakes. Now it's a backbreaker with Aaron Rodgers. He broke our back, man. And now you know how it feels. Maybe we all need to look ourselves in the mirror on the defense, offense, special teams, and say, what can I do different? And I think this is that type of game. And if we don't come out against Minnesota fired up and pumped and ready to win a game, we might start getting some pitchforks and some signs and some petitions for Mike McCarthy to go. But we will see. We will see what kind of battle ridden, hardened, whatever it is, come Minnesota.
So to kind of quiet to end it all off, right? Looking back, you're right, Harvey. We did need this game. We needed this wake up call. We needed to know exactly the type of team we need to be going forward, especially in this late run, this late games that we have, right? This forecast of games that we have against some tough teams, some tough opponents. And we needed that wake up call, most importantly for the playoffs, because once you get into the playoffs, there's no going back from a loss. And like you said, if Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn want to have, if they want to continue being coaches, and not just coordinators, I think that they needed this wake up call more than anybody. So, biggest takeaway from the game, what a wake up call. Number one, what a wake up call. Number two, Dan Quinn, You need to go and fix some issues that we have on the defense. I mean, most importantly, stopping the run. And Kellen Moore, we need to get our act together, man. Should be no reason Dak's passing 46 times. We need to see that run. And damn, we need Zeke back. But I believe that's it for us today. Remember, those that are tuning in, thank you so much again. Always, it's always fun to chime in with you guys. Hold on, we got something here. Fire more first. See what happens with. Okay, all right, all right. I think that the thing is, what offense would we run if we get rid of more? You know what I mean? Because I think that Mike McCarthy don't. I mean, he would have to install a whole new offense, and I don't think that it's that time of the year that we could be doing that. Or unless you're talking about next season, then yeah, it makes sense. But I want to say thank you all that are tuning in. Of course, you make this Monday just a little bit better, man. I mean, Monday losses they really sting, man, and it hurts, man, because I hear from not only do I hear from family members, from coworkers and people that I work with on the East West. You know what I mean? Like, man, I hear it all over the place, man, and
We still them boys.
hey, we still them boys. So be obnoxious, man. And because they're gonna hate us no matter what. But remember, stay tuned, subscribe, like, and of course share. Share this with a friend. And if you can follow our Facebook page, if you are following our Facebook page, thank you so much. Share the reels, man. I like it. We've been getting a lot of trolls, so I like it, man. And if you can, stay tuned on our TikTok. I after that we're gonna have another giveaway. But yeah, right now we have a giveaway for those that are subscribed right now to our current YouTube channel. Right now we have 27 subscribers. So it's I know it's new, right? It's new to some, but it's not that hard. There's a little button that you hit in the corner. It says subscribe, and then from there
Subscribe.
you like it, right? If you like it, it only helps us grow, and that's what we're trying to do is help grow this community. Down the week, I want some of you guys to chime in, give us a call, let us know how you feeling. We had Ramiro on Sunday. It was real good. I loved it. I love the energy, and looking forward to more of that. But that's it for us for the night. I want to say thank you, and let's see who wins in this Monday night game.